Oh my God, Anita.
Hello, my name is Willie Bragg. Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I hope each and every one of you are doing well. I am. I just came back from the doctor's office, and I figure I'll go ahead and do a quick video before I go, before I go to sleep and then go to work tonight. Well, it's been the talk about what November is going to be like. I mean, really, the economy is sluggish. Joe Biden is not doing what he's supposed to do. He's not shifting the country further left. And even the promises he made wasn't going to really shift the country further left, but it was going to make the country a little bit better if he would have kept his promises. But he hasn't. And for some reason, the right wing has controlled the narrative, a winning narrative, convincing people that mediocre governance and adopting of right-wing policies, and that's what Joe Biden's done, has convinced the American populace that somehow the shitty right-wing policies, the soft right-wing policies of the previous administration that Joe Biden is continuing is somehow far left, which it isn't. But this is what our media feeds to the people, and people and for some reason people get a dose of this and they get this notion in their head, and then it drifts the country further right, and then what gives the Democratic Party the excuse to blame the left, and then they go further right, and when the Democrats go further right, the Republicans go even further right. So we know that it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that that there will be a changing of the guard in November, that the Democrats will almost certainly lose the U.S. House of Representatives. And as I said, that's a foregone conclusion. We also know that the U.S. Senate is likely to flip over to the Republicans. It's bad enough that the Senate could flip over to the Republicans, but really, what really makes things bad about the House is that Marjorie Taylor Greene People like Marjorie Taylor Greene will have plenty of company in November. I mean, by January, she will have plenty of people just like Marjorie Taylor Greene coming in. Yeah, I go there. I'm going there. If Marjorie Taylor Greene and right-wing talk show hosts like Jesse Kelly can call her political opponents pedophiles, and they can sit there and call them communists. Not that I'm sitting there being like, "Oh, communist is a bad thing," whatever. I'm not. But to them, calling somebody a communist is a slur. So this is my throwback at the right wing. This is the sort of company Marjorie Taylor Greene will have. Oh, it should be a compliment to Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is the kind of company, that she likes to keep. She went and hung out with Nick Fuentes. So anyway, my point is that this is the kind of company that she'll have, and the Democrats will be a minority party, which means that Nancy Pelosi will no longer be Speaker of the House. Thank God for small miracles. So what happens when Nancy Pelosi is no longer the Speaker of the House? Well, let's take a look at the House and the Senate right now. Now, there's a couple of ways you can look at it, and while I have my problems with AOC now, Nancy Pelosi treats AOC like a doormat. She walks all over, she bullies AOC, and AOC takes the abuse. And AOC has been a large disappointment, and in many ways, she's a sellout in many ways. Rather hang out wearing a Chick-fil-A dress than to go around and hang out with union folks. Didn't take credit when Amazon in Staten Island becomes unionized, and she didn't really have anything to do with it. But she also knows that she let the left down, and a lot of people been like criticizing her, justifiably criticizing her. Unlike other, when the Young Turks sitting there singing her praises at every move, others maybe others like Jimmy Dore sitting there telling her that she can't do anything right. And, then there are people in between that when they're willing to go and praise her or commend her when she does something right. And when she fucks up, she needs to be criticized. And that's kind of where I stand. She needs to be criticized where she needs to be criticized. Well, she's Nancy Pelosi's doormat right now. The only good that AOC is serving is she makes Chuck Schumer a less shitty senator. Oh, don't get it twisted. Chuck Schumer is still a shitty senator, but if AOC wasn't scaring the shit out of him, because he's worried that there will be a primary battle with AOC one of these days. And of course, I think that he's got enough money that he will win in a primary battle, but it will be a bloody primary, and he does not want to fight AOC in a primary. And so he's scared of her, so he figures play ball a little bit. So maybe in that regard, I have to commend her for making Chuck Schumer a less shitty senator. I still wouldn't vote for him if I lived in New York. I still don't like the man, never liked the man. I would vote Green Party for whomever the Green Party is, the candidate is in New York State if I live in New York State, because I would never give my support to Chuck Schumer. So in that regard, Nancy Pelosi bullies AOC, but AOC prevents Chuck Schumer from being less shitty. And that's a way to look at things right there. Well, there is this. And, there is the 2024 primaries. Now, I know that I will be voting third party from the get-go. And, whether Bernie runs or not, we know what they're going to do to Bernie. We know they're going to fuck him over again. We know that. I'm not voting for Joe Biden. He has not earned my vote. Hillary Clinton, she's actually worse than Joe Biden. She's more right-wing. She just told the Democratic Party to throw the trans community under the bus. So fuck Hillary Clinton. And if Bernie Sanders decides to run in the primary, I hope that if he runs, I hope that he runs aggressively and really, really go after Hillary Clinton and calls her out on her bullshit. Even though I know that they're going to go and screw him over again a third time. I already know this from the very beginning. So whether I give him positive points or not and encourage people to vote for him in the primary or not, I already know he's not going to get the nomination. It is kind of beside the point. But it's going to, it will be sort of like a fight between AOC and Nancy Pelosi coming up, because that's what's going to happen when the Republicans are in charge. There's going to probably be a power play. Not that AOC is this revolutionary. I wish she was, but not that she's this revolutionary. But symbolism do mean things these days for some reason. And so there's going to be a power grab in the House. And I'm not saying that AOC will become Speaker of the House, but maybe when Nancy Pelosi is thankfully knocked down several pegs as Speaker of the House down to Minority Whip or lower than that, maybe AOC will develop some kind of a backbone. At least I would hope so. And if she can't, I don't know what to say. But anyway, if she and Nancy Pelosi fights, at least it will be good entertainment. What can I say? You can at least enjoy some popcorn and watch the battle going on between the two, because that would be entertaining. It would be just as entertaining as Donald Trump and the Republicans going at it with each other in 2016. I wasn't for anybody in the Republican primaries in 2016, but I was actually entertained and look forward. I actually did like seeing Donald Trump slap Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, and especially Jeb Bush around, and that was fun to watch. Well, with regard to AOC and Nancy Pelosi, it would be fine and wonderful and dandy to see AOC slap Nancy Pelosi around. I hope that happens. Even if AOC disappoints me again, please give me the satisfaction of going after a heavyweight like Nancy Pelosi and humble her and humiliate her more, because Nancy Pelosi is still a bigger problem. She's still a problem. She's right up there with Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and Joe Biden and all of that. She's part of that swamp that made the Democratic Party, just the crap hole and that it is currently. So it'll be interesting, shall I say. And it's just an observation I've been noticing. So we'll see what happens. And if the Democrats remain in control of the House, well, all this is all conjecture and all that. So we'll see. So on the chat line here, we have, oh my goodness, we have Radical Leftist Agenda. Okay. Hey, how are you today? Subscribe. All right. I like the new setup. Hey, how are you? Yeah, I've been trying to do something a little different. I may go back to the old setup occasionally. I've been trying to have some ideas what to do, and there's going to be some changes on my channel and everything. So I'm actually I'll actually like to talk to you. Maybe later on. I'm going to chat with you later on today. I have a question to ask, some questions to ask of you. So more like a favor. So anyway, yes. So let's see what happens in the next year. When the U.S. House goes fascist with a Republican majority, and when the Democrats get cucked in November, and let's see what happens when the Democratic Party tries to redefine itself as a result in the 2022 midterms, and see how it leads to the year 2024. So I'll conclude by saying this, that if you like what you heard, press like and comment any way you disagree, share the content on this channel. As the First Amendment absolutist, I would like for each and every one of you to consider creating your own platform and utilize it, because we're the muckrakers of our time. Subscribe to this channel and let's network together to make this country and world a better place. And I will conclude by saying to each and every one of you, like I would normally say, because it's just something that I like to do. I would like to conclude by saying to you all music. So I'm going to say to you all music.